Hello, may the fourth be with you in this episode of Low Standards. In this episode, we'll be tackling an old game that I used to own on the GameCube, but due to limitations of my disc being working at all, I have to go and work with what I got. So in this episode, we'll be tackling the original trilogy of Lego Star Wars. Sorry about the wait. I just had to go ahead and do it at the right time. Alright, and we'll be taking through, as previously done in the previous episode, I'll be going through the first level of every episode, since this game, because after playing the original Lego Star Wars, I realized that you can play through the game, you could choose the other episodes once you complete the first level of the first episode available to you. So if I complete Secret Plans of Episode 4, A New Hope, it'll let me access Episode 5 of The Empire Strikes Back, and Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. I think the difference is that these levels are a little bit longer, I think only if I, snoop around more, but I don't want to do that. I want to at least get through all at least one level of each game, of each movie. I remember playing a whole lot of this as a kid when I was younger, because I grew up watching the original trilogy, so I was a bigger fan of the sequels when I got older, because I got more familiar with them after watching Episode 3 in the Seed Years as a young kid. It looks weird. Not because saying I'm emulating it, but it always looked weird back in the day. But then again, that's how it was when we got it on the GameCube and other subsequent consoles. The one thing I was never exposed to the game was allowing to use old save, because I own the original trilogy on the GameCube while my cousin owned the PS2 version of the prequel films. So that was the only thing that we can never do. But again, when I found out what the old save can do at the moment, those guys got owned. The violence in the original Lego games for when they did the Star Wars films was a lot more aggressive to what they did with Skywalker Saga. In this game, you'll now be able to know who you're playing as, just in case you were not much of a buff to know, not that much of a Star Wars fan to know every character in the game. Oh, there you go, put those up, I think, to activate the door switch, I believe. Alright, we'll be going through each of the first levels, as I stated previously. But, what was I going to say now? Shit, I totally actually forgot now. This game got a lot more interesting as time permits. Oh yeah, I found out the old save can only be used in free play. Oh, that's one thing I kind of miss now, is that whenever Rebel soldiers take out their blaster, there are certain times where the animation will play of them forgetting where their blaster was before they take it out and start firing. Okay. This game did a lot more differently than the other Lego games. The ability to build was definitely a lot more interesting, as I believe building was only accessible to specifically Jedi in the previous game. So when they added the ability to build certain objects and they show the characters building it, it was like a new thing, and I was like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. Oh no, it's Vader. He's gonna threaten us by pushing us slightly as we approach him. Just gonna go ahead and activate both detonators here, because I played this game a bunch. There we go. Take that, Vader. Don't push me. The studs here first. Alright, time to move on. Where'd that stud go? There it is. So I missed it, and I was like, no! Blue studs! I want those! Oh no, Leia died! Now the rebels will never be able to find out how to destroy the Death Star, or even know of its existence. I noticed now that this emulation does not make the voices higher compared to when I was playing the original sequel. Shoot, I didn't remember what I needed to say. I meant to say the prequels. The prequels from the first game. Really weird how they're going by chronological order when they should have gotten by order when the films came out. But you know, Episode 3 had just came out at the same time as that game. Oh, I love Leia's melee action. It's so funny. She just slaps him with her, like, gives him a hip slap. She's a baller. Just take the dang disc, R2. R2 did not like eating those plans. Alright, there we go. Oh, we gotta go rescue our rebel friend, which is literally their name, Rebel Friend. Alright, goodbye. I don't think they have the animation for them when they get grabbed, or it just didn't work from the distance because of the emulation. Come on, dude. Just get in the claw. There we go. Because that guy was just standing still for some reason. Oh, wait, hold up. I gotta go... C-3PO, could you please move forward? Oh, I have to wait for it in the door to get in. Oh! Alright, and then we drop C-3PO over here. I wish he could auto open the door. That would have been a lot more easier than having me to walk over there, switch to him. Oh! Wait, do we have our death sounds or it's not playing? There we go, it's just very low. Well, I lost some studs in the process. Oh no, they got our guys. We gotta save them. I think. I don't think you really need to save them in a sense, but I guess it would be good, better to save them now. Why are you smiling? Oh! Why are you smiling, sir? It's kind of threatening if you think about it. Because the Imperial officer comes in smiling. One thing I noticed upon the certain changes with the with both this and oops, and the completed saga, one of the things I noticed is that they changed the bathing suits for stormtroopers, the swimsuit troopers. You'll find out once we get to the to that one portion in this area everyone remembers. Oh, wait, I gotta switch to one of these guys and build things. Okay, building bridge. You'll see what I mean. Oh, come on, dude. There we go. The guy got his hands on his hip, like, alright. Yeah, there we go. In the original game, in the original trilogy of the game, they were only in like a thong, which I guess it would be a little bit awkward for kids to see, so in the completed saga they changed that entirely. Could you please deal with them? Dude, you really do all. I think at first that was only the Rebel Friend, but I think in this game, the original release of this game, all Rebel Troopers have that particular animation, which kind of makes them easy to die, which kind of makes no sense. But then again, they're rebels. Having a hat like that that's kind of like wearing the red shirt of the Starship Enterprise in Star Trek. You're bound to die because you have a giant target on your body. And until he's died. Oh. I don't know where it's at. The classic desert theme for Tatooine. I didn't really realize it until playing through the Skywalker saga. I didn't realize that Anakin grew up in Mos Espa. I thought he grew up in the same town, the same city as where Luke and Obi-Wan or Ben Kenobi head to in Episode 4. We never actually see how C-3PO got captured, but he just eventually shows up in the same cage area. There we go. We now have access to Episode 4 and 5. 5 and 6. After paying a certain amount, the roster down there will expand, and whatever characters you have in your old save of the prequel trilogy Lego Star Wars game will be available to play in free play. I don't know if whatever you have on them will apply to specifically shit. I can't remember dang it, I keep forgetting. Okay, now I remember. Specifically adds any additional pieces to the character creator, which was the first thing that a lot, like, this game did, and thus a lot of LEGO games follow in suit. Why am I the rebel friend? That's the real question of the hour. I guess even given how long that level was, I might not be able to actually do the next levels. Because these ones are a lot longer from what I've just experienced as opposed to how I easily went through episode 1 through 3's levels. Guessing since there's a new game now, they developed a lot more into it. And once again, the cutscenes are unskippable. Well, we're doing the first not the first ship level, but the first one available to us at the start. And that's, of course, my favorite episode, Episode 5. I guess I might as well just put up some personal experiences with my experience watching Star Wars. When I was a kid, I would always act like an AT-AT whenever that scene would come up in our VHS tape. I just didn't mention it before, but not only do I have the DVDs of episodes 1 through 6 back in the day, but I have specifically, shit. I gotta stop forgetting. I have the VHS copies of the original releases of the movies, of the original trilogy, back in the day. We don't know where our copies are these days, because, you know, it was a long time ago. Oh, that guy's angry. That guy has a mustache. Very nice. I also forgot that... No, I just forgot, but I missed how the skies would apply to everything in the cutscene, including vehicles. I don't think they did that in the most recent LEGO Star Wars games, or LEGO games in general now. But I do miss the disguises in the earlier LEGO games. I think they stopped after Harry Potter. Yeah! Literally my favorite thing to do in this game is play hot. I love this level. I remember playing it all the time back there in the arcades when we used to have... Oh, dang it. Hello?
Hey, Brenda, is Mom there?
Yes.
Oh, can you hand the phone to her?
I can't right now. I'm doing an episode of Low Standards and you kind of just hold off my footage.
Oh, sorry. Well, if you couldn't answer, you could have just, like, hung up and then texted me.
Oh, well, I can't text you because my phone's also the game console.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Who else is in the house? I'll call them and...
There's Mary Grace, Mon, and Melissa. I don't know if they're still downstairs because I've been upstairs for some time.
Oh, it's okay. Okay. I know they call. Okay, bye.
Bye. For those who are wondering just now, that was my sister. She was, shit. I just pressed call again. No, I wanted to reload. Damn it. I'm guessing due to that interruption, we'll be only doing episodes 4 and 5. Because I don't have a lot of recording footage. You see, they only go up to 29 minutes. I don't know if you'll be able to make it through the other one. I guess this is basically the same compensation as when I was trying to look up and see if my cheats were off. Stuff. But back then in my local Chuck E. Cheese, they used to own an arcade cabinet of well, it was a special version of the the original Trilogy arcade game made by Sega. It had it was a special one because it had I know there's a difference between having a certain arcade cabinet because this one had a cockpit seat in it, which makes sense. I believe those were tailor-made for Chuck E. Cheese back in the day until all of them got rid of it because, you know, it was too old and kids wanted something new. But you can't get rid of something classic. When it came to arcade games, the one that existed the longest, in particular with my arcade, was Jurassic Park. It wasn't until a few years later, calling it now from this year, that they got rid of it so they can add in the Raw Thrills version. I gotta go leave. Oh, I remember quickly, you gotta leave the bomb. Oh my god, this... what the f was that? Get these pro droids out of here. I totally did not remember, but now, thanks to playing this level, I remember now the pro droids stop you from grabbing the bombs, which you'll need in order to break down the wall, the doorway area there. You also gotta avoid dealing with the ATSTs that are also in your way. Yoink! I think I almost died. Alright, we gotta deal with this AT, so I'm gonna go drop a bomb on him. That's not what you're supposed to do. There we go. I love this level as a kid, and I still love this level now, because Hawk was such an amazing battle. It was the first time they introduced the AT-ATs, and they were all stop motion, which was very convincing for a time how they did it. Using figures and stop motion together, they really pulled it out of the park with that battle in particular. Dang it, dude! You made the explosion go not into you, and then it took so long just to finish the explosion. Where did the bomb go? Oh yeah, I forgot. You can pull down ATSTs, and that's the thing for a mini kit. Is the bomb back? I want to at least blow this thing up. What the fuck? How did you get back up? How can you get back up? Is it like the ATSTs of freaking Real Life Chicken in the Skywalker saga where they act like actual animals? How did the ATST get back up? That's impossible, given its giant weight and its giant armored transport. There's like nothing but metal and contraptions and electricity. How the heck would you get up that easily? Alright. Just one more pass. Yeah! I love these things. I think I like the homage in Kids Next Door when they referenced this in the episode where I forgot what his name was. Well, he was the current president of school president of the school in Kids Next Door, and he wanted to get everyone. He wanted to bring everyone to school despite it being a snow day, so that way he can show off that he wanted to date Nigel's girlfriend Lizzie by using the control helmet she had used him on an older episode of the series. Oh god, there's a lot of ATSTs in that one area in particular. Ouch. I sort of died. If I remember correctly, the level in which the level I can access the start of episode 6 is specifically when Leia, Chewie, and the others try to rescue Han from Jabba the Hutt. Because that during episode, you should know all this. You've watched Star Wars. You came here for spoilers and bad luck. Everyone plays Star Wars and they're gonna spoil it easily. Especially the Lego games. Because the Lego games are just like full interpretation of the story entirely. They're taking their own liberties to explain the story. Oh, I think this one used to be a pain when I was a kid because I didn't really know how to do this right. Well, that was easy. Still kind of annoying I had to go ahead and blow all those different things up to this point again. Sorry about the call, but you know how it is. That's a lot of probe droids. Do they really need this much? They're probe droids. I mean, this game in particular, they're annoying, yes, but in actuality, they're just probe droids. They don't really cause that much of a threat. They're just for reconnaissance. I should know this because I remember destroying those things in the arcade game, and it didn't really do that much. Not to mention, they're rarely ever used in Star Wars Empire at War. They're used mostly in space during the the overhead section of the galaxy, where you're overlooking all the planets and which ones you own, and ones are owned by either the Black Sun or the Rebellion, or if you played Forces of Corruption, Jabba the Hutt's forces, or Zahn's Consortium. Probe droids are only known to use so you can identify what's on the planet, what's the planet's defenses and buildings to destroy, and whatever forces in both land and space battles are in there. I kind of forgot just now that I destroyed the ATSTs and not the probe droids. I think this is the last portion of the level, if I remember correctly. Is after you destroy the ATSTs, there'll be 5 or 3 AT-ATs. But this will be annoying because there's going to be a lot of probe droids in the battlefield along with AT-STs as well. Yeah, look at that shot! I always wanted a Lego AT-ST, but I never got one. Oh, it's just 2 of them. Makes sense, given the way you have to deal with them regardless. Well, ATS is really getting close. I would like it if you back up, sir. You're gonna make me crash into you, and that's making a problem. Oh my god, there's probe droids everywhere! Oh shit. I think in this version of the game... Oh! In this version of the game, the probe droids will only... I don't think they ever latch on in the completed saga. God damn it! Piss off! Alright, I got the first one at least. These probe droids are getting on my freaking tits. Ah! I love this level. Alright. Oh no, what you doing? What you doing? That was weird. I think the AT-AT's on top of the turret tower over there, and it started wiggling out. Ah! It started wiggling out. I just gotta move this bomb over here. Ball! Yeah! This is a great game. Oh no! I remember now. There's you now have to deal with a wave of them. Of all the specifics. Alright, so destroy 4 probe droids, destroy, I think 6 AT-STs and 1 AT-AT. I think once you destroy them, that should really just end them entirely on the field. There's no more spawning in, those are the only ones left. Which makes things a lot more easier, especially when you have to deal with the probe droids shooting at you all the time. I totally didn't acknowledge it, but I love the little minifigures of, the horde of, rebel soldiers and imperial soldiers on the floor. So tiny. Alright, ladies, go ahead and get this. Strike. Nice shot. Huh? Oh no, he lost. What was his name again? Oh, Dax is dead. Oh no, Luke, you crashed. Whoa! Good job, Luke. Yeah, you throw the detonator in there. Yeah, make sure you don't miss. Wait, hold up. That's not how it exploded. Well, Luke did it. At least I was able to do Hoth. Unfortunately, I would not be able to do... Oh, it's only 10 vehicles in this game. That's really interesting. Then again, I guess the vehicle size must have increased when it came to complete Saga. Because the way you use the other vehicles, the mini-kit vehicles, is a lot more different in level size as opposed to playing it anywhere else. But, you know, like, they only attack their own specific levels. Freaking the guy's smiling. I think we could at least play like the opening portion for episode 6's first chapter, and then I'll end it off there. Yes, open up, I say. Jabba's palace. Strange, the sound cut off for a second. I have to do a thing first. Just need to look things up. What time is it right now? Oh, it's already 10. Shit. I need to be able to upload the episodes, but then I gotta go home first to take out the trash. Both here in this house and in my house. Oh, that sound is so classic to listen to. Strange how they have a different siren sound for both outside and inside. No, those guys definitely look busy. Oh, I feel bad for that guy. Oh. Man, CTV sounds really worried. I forgot that the security camera droid speaks in Huttese, and I'm not really familiar with that language. I know it exists, but I just never understand it. And again, no one really understands half of the languages in Star Wars that you ever added in. Unless you're really wanting to learn that basic Gungan, which I recommend you don't, because it's just dumb. Although the fact that I didn't do the second chapter of episode 1, I could have easily just abused the inherent Jar Jar for the fun of it. Alright, well, I just need to do this portion and I'll end the episode off. Well, actually, how much time do I have left? I think the episode might end off already anyways. Anyways, I'll see you all.